Hello boys, welcome back to another session of video tutorials, and this session is meant for class 12th biology students, and this is meant for 16th November 2020. And as all of us know, we are into the revision mode and we are revising a career deciding chapter, biotechnology principles and processes. In the risk of repeating, I would like to tell you all that chapter number 11 and 12 coming under biotechnology unit is very important. They decide your future also, and this is one of the ways you can handle your future. And you may reflect upon that we were talking about the tools of recombinant DNA technology. Now, DNA, as all of you know, is the polysome, is a polymer of nucleotides, we can say, and DNA is present inside the chromosome. And when we talk of recombinant DNA, we are recombining, we are adding some foreign piece into the DNA. That becomes a recombinant DNA. So for this, we require that DNA is to be cut. DNA parts that are cut are to be added to the plasmid. So we require a lot of enzymes for this and a lot of tools that we require. So basically we were discussing about tools required for recombinant DNA technology. As part of it, in our previous session, we talked about the first tool, that is enzymes. And then we talked about how to separate and isolate DNA fragments through gel electrophoresis. Now we are coming to today, third tool that is required in rDNA, recombinant DNA technologies, cloning sites. To link the foreign DNA, the vector need to have single recognition sites for the commonly used restriction enzymes, as presence of more than one recognition sites within the vector will generate several fragments, which will complicate the gene cloning. The ligation of foreign DNA is carried out at a restriction site present in one of the two antibiotic resistance genes. Now, for example, we are going to talk in detail is the cloning vector. DNA used as a carrier for transferring of a fragment of foreign DNA into a suitable host is called vehicle DNA, or this is also called cloning vectors. The DNA which is transferred from one organism into another by joining it with the vehicle DNA is called passenger DNA. Generally, three types of passenger DNAs are used. They are complementary DNA, cDNA. Second one, synthetic DNA, sDNA, and random DNA. Vectors may be of the following types, as we have discussed already. Plasmid, look at that. The extrachromosomal, self-replicating, circular, double-stranded DNA molecule is the plasmid. I'll repeat, what is a plasmid? Plasmid is an extrachromosomal, other than what is there in the chromosome. Self-replicating, it replicates itself. Circular, usually round. Double-stranded, two strands are the DNA molecule. It is found naturally in many bacteria and also in some yeast, like what you are seeing, PBR 322, very famous plasmid. PBR 322 was the first artificial cloning vector constructed in 1977 by Boulware and Rodrigues. Thanks to them, such a great people way back in 1977. But we are feeling that this is something new that's happened in 2020. Long back this is created. Thanks to their foresightedness, thanks to their thinking, thanks to their scientific attitude. And bacteriophages are viruses that infect bacterial cells by injecting their DNA into these cells. The injected DNA is selectively replicated and expressed in the host bacterial cells, resulting in a number of phases that burst out of the cell. so lytic pathway, and reinfect neighboring cells. Two phases that have been extensively modified for development of cloning vectors are lambda phase vector, M13 phase vector. Two vectors are there. And then cosmid vectors have been constructed by combining certain features of plasmid and the cos sites of the phase lambda. They can be used to clone DNA inserts up to 45 kb. Then Agrobacterium tumefaciens, a pathogen of several dicot plants, is able to deliver a piece of DNA known as tDNA to transform normal plant cells into tumor cells and direct these tumor cells to produce the chemicals required by the pathogen. The tumor inducing, we say TA plasmid, tumor inducing plasmid, TA plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens has been modified into a cloning vector which is no more pathogenic to the plants but is still able to use the mechanisms to deliver genes of our interest into varieties of plants. Here you must remember the main focus is to make gene of interest. This is the aim, ultimate aim, gene of interest. Okay, and we are using two. One is bacteria, so bacterial artificial chromosome, we say BAC, bacterial artificial chromosome. Vectors are based on natural extrachromosomal plasmid of E. coli. These vectors can accommodate up to 300 to 350 kb of foreign DNA. Another one, of course, after BAC, it is YAC or YAC, YAC, BAC and YAC. That is, yeast artificial chromosomes vectors are used to clone DNA fragments of more than 1 MB in size. Therefore, they have been exploited extensively in mapping the larger genomes. And then plasmid. Vector is a composite structure made up of bacteriophage and plasmid. They are used for carrying larger DNA sequences. So E. coli cloning vector, this is bacteria, E. coli, Escherichia coli. It's a PBR 322 showing restriction sites as you are seeing. HIND3, here is the HIND3 restriction site. ECO R1, this is the one, ECO R1. BAM H1, SAL1, you can see here, all these are restrictions. PVU2, 1 PVU and 2, and then PST1, this one, PST1, and CLA, where is that CLA? Yeah, CLA is here. So ORI, origin of interest, and antibiotic resistance genes, AMB, antibiotic, ampicillin resistance, AMPR, this one, AMPR, TATR, tetracycline resistance. So RUP codes for the proteins involved in the replication of the plasmid. This is how the importance. And insertional inactivation. The most efficient method of screening for the presence of recombinant plasmids is based on the principle that the cloned DNA fragment disrupts the coding sequence of a gene. This is termed as insertional inactivation. For example, the powerful method of screening for the presence of recombinant plasmids is referred as blue-white selection. This method is based upon the insertional inactivation of the Z gene present on the vector. The lac Z gene encodes the enzyme beta galactosidase, which can cleavage the chromogenic substrate into a blue-colored product. If this lac Z gene is inactivated by insertion of target DNA fragment into it, the development of blue color will be prevented and it gives white colored colonies. By this way, we can differentiate recombinant white color and non-recombinant colonies. Vectors for cloning genes in plants and animals. Agrobacterium tumefaciens, pathogen of dicot plant, is able to deliver a piece of DNA known as tDNA to transform normal plant cells into tumor and direct these tumor cells to produce the chemicals required by the pathogen. Retroviruses in animals have the ability to transform normal cells into cancerous cells. The tumor-inducing TI plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens has been modified into cloning vector having no more pathogenic to plant. Similar retroviruses have been modified into cloning vectors for animals too. And then we go to the next one, characteristics of cloning vector. What should be the characteristics of a cloning vector? The desirable characteristics of a cloning vector are, first it should be ORI, origin of replication. It is a sequence from where replication starts. The replication occurs inside the host cells. A prokaryotic DNA has a single origin of replication, while eukaryotic DNA may have more than one origin of replication. And the second characteristic, selectable markers, that is antibiotic resistance gene. So that is selectable markers are required to identify and eliminate non-transformants and selectively permit the growth of transformants. Just now I said how to differentiate blue and white, transformants and non-transformants. Generally, the genes encoding resistance to antibodies such as tetracycline, ampicillin, kanamycin, chloramphenicol, etc. are useful as selectable markers for E. coli. A valuable feature of the cloning vector is the presence of specific restriction sites, or we call it cloning sites, where the enzyme restriction endonucleases make a cut so that foreign DNA segment may be introduced or joined to the vector. This property helps vector to act as trusted cloning vehicle during gene transfer in genetic engineering. The ligation of alien DNA is carried out at a restriction site present in one of the antibiotic resistance genes. So basically these are the characteristics of a cloning vector. And then we go to the next one. Next tool that is required is the competent host. We require a very good host. The competent host is essential for transformation with recombinant DNA. Many kinds of host cells, including E. coli, yeast, animal and plant cells, are available for genetic engineering. For the expression of some eukaryotic proteins, eukaryotic cells may be preferred as hosts. DNA is a hydrophilic molecule. It cannot pass through membranes, so bacterial cells must be made capable to make up DNA. This is done by treating them with a specific concentration of divalent cations such as calcium ion, which increases the efficiency. In eukaryotic cells, the term transformation is replaced by the term transfection. It is the process of gene transfer into the host cell without using a vector. This is possible through what we call electroporation or microinjection. These are the ways. So the competent host must be present, and you can see here in microinjection method, rDNA is directly injected into the nucleus of the cells by using a glass micropipette. A biolistic or gene gun method, it has been developed to introduce rDNA into mainly plant cells by using gene or particle gun. In this method, microscopic particles of gold and tungsten, this is again your NEET exam, gold and tungsten are coated with the DNA of interest and bombarded onto the cells. The last method uses disarmed pathogen vectors like Agrobacterium tumefaciens, which when followed to infect the cell, transfer the recombinant DNA into the host. So this is how we process the rDNA. And rDNA, of course, we need to think of this, can be transformed into host cell by incubating both on ice followed by placing them briefly at 42 degrees centigrade, heat shock method it's called, and then putting them back onto the ice. This enables the bacteria to take up the rDNA. So these are the various methods through which rDNA can be transferred into a host, and the host becomes competent host. Let us discuss the process of